I just got a visitor. Right. I thought he wouldn't stay in here, but my puppy just joined us, so I don't know.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pushing Boundaries podcast, Recovery Mode podcast. Happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully everyone's staying safe, wearing your masks, doing what you need to do, social distancing and everything else, ramping up for school. We're up to chapter 11 in our Recovery Mode podcast. I'm joined by Julie Woodard. Definitely somebody who is very instrumental, and I'll show you why in a minute. And we've been talking. I mean, literally, if I didn't start this, we'd probably keep talking about pretty much everything. And then 20 minutes will go by. I'd be like, I should have hit live. And just gone with it. So, Julie, before I get everyone going to start on everything, just to get everyone an idea, the reason why we're here, the Recovery Mode book. Definitely, you can pick this up at pushboundconsulting.com. Julie has chapter 11 as a contribution, 158-page ebook, completely free, talking about recovery mode, what school is going to look like in this upcoming season with the pandemic and everything else. And the questions are starting to ramp up. People are starting to ask more questions. We are never here to say we have all the answers. This is just for discussion, and definitely with administrators and teachers out there. If you guys have any questions or you're looking for help how to integrate back in, in this COVID-19 pandemic, definitely reach out. We do professional development for everybody. And, we have experts pretty much every single way you can think of. So, Miss Julie, why don't you tell everyone, is your dog still at your leg? Your dog's still
No, he's calmed down. So he did come right at the wrong time, though.
It's like, get out of here, dog. So, Julie, who is Julie Woodard? Who are you, dear? What makes you special to the world?
Oh God, I'm not special.
Oh, come on.
I'm a mixture of a lot of things. We've kind of learned. I didn't even begin in education until I was 40. And that's because I moved to Texas with my husband and my four small children, and I had been working in geriatric healthcare and public relations prior to that. So I grew up in the credit and collections world. I grew up working for the credit industry, and I was teaching people what credit reporting was like and all that kind of stuff in public relations in my first job, and then first couple jobs, and then we moved, and you move with the husband and the wife gets a job, where they live. And I was in geriatric healthcare, and I was the director of an Alzheimer's daycare, and I was a hospice volunteer, and I helped 16 people go from this life to the next life. And then I became an executive director of an assisted living home. And I was doing that for a while, and then we moved again. And I did some stuff in the Kalamazoo, Battle Creek area for a while, and then we moved to Texas, and I started education. And it's really because I applied for a communication position with the public relations department, and they had me submit some writing samples, and I had been writing for a local newspaper back in Michigan. And when they saw the writing, they go, "Oh, we want you to be a journalism writing teacher." And I go, "I don't even have a teaching degree. I don't, it's not what I do." "Well, that's okay. You can get alternatively certified and you can teach writing." And they put me in sixth grade teaching writing. And that was 20 something years ago. I think this is my 20th year. So
basically,
educator, I got some teaching awards, some pretty great.
Definitely. I mean, and that's awesome and I didn't know. And just right off the bat, it's either Rebecca or Dr. Jet is saying, look, they didn't even know you joined education later in life. So, you've been doing it for years. So awesome. That's awesome for you that, being in it for a few years. And then, you had that people are like, "Oh my God, I thought you've been doing this for 30 years and you've only been doing it for less than 10." And it's awesome.
I've got to teach about 40 more years to hit that Texas magic number where you can retire, because I didn't start until I was like 40. So if you add how many years you've been teaching with how old you are, I think I can retire when I'm like 76 or something like that to get to the magic numbers. Some dumb thing.
Okay. Yeah. And when you,
Julie, it's a good thing you don't teach math because I don't think that's right.
and definitely, and I can speak for the 40-year-olds and plus out there is that once you hit 40 and up, then you start doing the math. You're like, when can I retire? If I retire at like this age, I'll have this much money or this age. So you do the math, and as time goes on, it's awesome. So definitely, and that's awesome. But definitely, the things that we want to talk about too is that, yeah, you're in education, but you are known for a lot of other things, and I want to bring some attention. So definitely, if you guys follow our Pushing Boundaries Facebook page, you're going to see things like this. You're going to see things like this. Julie is an infographic master of doing things like this all over Twitter. She's all over the place. Definitely, you can see things. You have things like this, which are educationally connected. I've seen these things even before meeting Julie. I've seen these things all over the place. I mean, Julie, how awesome is this? But how did you get started in making these awesome type of images and everything that reflect education?
Well, that's about the sixth one I did right there. That don't teach content one. I was still a rookie when I made that one.
Wait. You were a rookie. This is awesome. I couldn't even do this in my sleep.
That wasn't very. That was about the I don't know, sixth or seventh or eighth one. Oh my gosh!
Don't worry about it.
Somebody comes to my house, and somebody came to my house. So my dog's going crazy. He doesn't even bark, but there's literally someone at my door. And then my phone rang. My husband's gonna get that, hopefully.
Hey, people in education, we deal with this all the time, so it's not nothing.
The video where the kid comes in while the TV broadcaster is trying to do his TV news, and his little 2-year-old gets rolled in.
Oh, sure.
It's pretty much like that.
So, don't even worry about it. Things happen.
He never even barks, except there's a man standing at my front door.
It's like the dog's basically like, come on, man, I'm here. Let me in,
Anything ever, but literally the man's at the door and he's looking at me like, why aren't I coming to the door? Why would he have to come now?
It's like I have a package. That's the UPS man or somebody. I mean, there's got to be somebody.
Right.
All right.
I'm so sorry.
Now your husband seems like he's got the door.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe the guy's leaving.
Okay, let's see. Wait, hold on. There you go. We got our bosses. Our bosses are looking at what you do and everything else. But I mean, but look at it this way: your dog is obviously a fan of your work. We got your work on here and everything else. Your dog is a fan and showing his or her appreciation for what you do.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Hey, like I said, I've been doing this for a little bit. I got a lot of that stuff going on. So let's talk about dogs in education. No, I'm kidding.
I think that every school should get to have a puppy come on your campus, so that you have a little room where a dog is, so people can kind of have a moment to like de-escalate and calm down and have a little one-on-one relationship with a fluffy little animal. I think that they should be allowed on camp. I think every campus should have a dog on campus. But maybe
like a therapy dog.
Right. I mean, one that's trained and knows how to be in a building and knows how to be around kids and all that. But there are times when, you've got this kid that's getting, and if he could sit down with a dog and just, I think there's a lot of kids that would really be soothed by that. And I know there's teachers too. There's educators that, could just benefit from a little calm down room when they're, you could go visit a puppy.
Definitely. So this is your 6th one you've ever done?
I think it was 6 or 7 right in there. Yes, sir.
Wow. How many have you? Is there a count? Like how many people have you? How many of these have you done? Like, if is there a count?
No, I've never counted. Hundreds.
Wow. And then what inspired you to do, because you told us a little bit about your background. What inspired you to get to influence educators this way? Because I've seen these all over the place.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I've got one favorite one. And so I've always been an artist. I was an artist in high school. I've always been an artist. Sure. And I dabble in I change medium all the time, like quilting or needle arts or play or, whatever. You change, you just kind of go through phases, whatever. Sure. But I did a lot of painting a couple summers ago and a couple years ago, and I was selling a lot of paintings, and I make my paintings into note cards and just that kind of thing. But this happened about 4 spring breaks or so ago. I have tech kids, and I bought an app. I bought the app that you create those with. And then for like Mother's Day or something, my kids go, well, Mom, if you're going to do those, you need an iPad Pro, because my kids when you have adult techie kids, it's great, right? So they got me an iPad Pro, and then I could really kind of, and you got an Apple Pencil, and, because I was using those earlier ones, I was using my finger on the app. Okay. I'm just using my finger, and I'm just doing my finger and all that. Well, then when they get me the Apple Pencil, and my leather case, it's like legit, because my kids, my son, the leather, it's all nice. And so that's what they get me for gifts and stuff. So then I got, I started getting polished up a little bit more, and I've been practicing. And I really like it because people will contact me like, can you do this? Or can you do that? Or can you do this? And they ask me for the craziest things, but I like seeing my favorite thing is seeing where they turn up. Like people will send me, I walked into this classroom, and a friend of mine, I walked into this classroom, and up on the bulletin board was this poster, and I read, I go, that's Julie, I know her, and it's up on a bulletin board or whatever. And this one school did a bulletin board that's like a 10 by 10 bulletin board, but they took my sketch note and then they drew it on there like verbatim, exactly like the sketch note, drawn all on big. But then in the bottom, they literally put @Woodard -Julie in the corner. It was really cute. It looked just like I did it, except they blew it up. And like different authors, I like when authors want to use them, and then they use them in their trainings and presentations and stuff. Tamara Letter used a lot of them in her book, Passion for Kindness. And there's this really cool picture that I really like where she's doing a presentation, and in those, I live in a really small little town. Like we just got a building that has elevators, like three-story building, because we don't have any big building. And she sends me this picture from this hall where she's presenting, and it's one of those big where they have like 3 different screens and the rooms are divided. And so there's this image that I drew that's on this screen, like 2 stories high screen, and she's standing in front of it presenting, and all 3 screens have it, the same image. And I was like, dude, that's like the biggest, because I draw them and they're like this big when I'm drawing. They're 4 by 6. Right. I'm drawing them, and then she had it on this giant screen, and she's standing in front of it, and she was like not even like a third of the height of it standing in front of it. That has 3 TVs of it, and I went, whoa, I would have done that a little more carefully if I knew it was going to be zoomed out to,
That has to be so isn't that so self-rewarding, seeing your 4 by 6 into this 2-3 story thing? That has to be so awesome. Just to see really fun.
I freaked out May something. I think it was May. No, our book came out in May, right? So it might've been April. Yes. Award-winning culture, Hans of Hell. I'm not saying it right because he's German, but Hans.
Yes.
He released his book, and when it was released, they showed the release picture, and I looked at it, I go, what? I drew the cover of that book, and I didn't know I was drawing the cover of the book. He had me do some images or whatever, and I'm looking at the cover, and that's my cover.
Wow.
And so that was really cool. He's got a lot of images in there that I drew, but I didn't know that, it was on the cover.
Definitely.
And, so I thought that was pretty cool. But my favorite, and you didn't ask me this, I'm going to tell you a story anyway. My favorite was a tweet I got from a man named, he's in Australia. I have a lot of followers in Australia. And he's an Australian. His name is Magen General, Magen is how they say major. It's Magen or something. And he's the head of the Australian Army. And he's doing this training, and he wants to know if he can use some of my images for this training to train Australian officers in Australia.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's a cool one. That was one of my, because I have different favorites, different people will write and ask, can you do something? But that one was really my favorite because I'm a military background kind of gal. And if military wants to borrow anything from me, I was cool with that. But I thought that was really cool because it was Australian. It was a training product that he was creating, and he wanted to put some of my, and I was like, I don't even know what ones I don't care I want to know what he wants that applies to teaching you, Australian officer stuff. But,
that shows you that just the educational aspect of it just goes into everything we do.
It's funny where they pop up.
So like now, for instance, this one that I had found, how long does this take to create? I mean, like, how long will it take for you to sit down from nothing on the screen to this? Like, right. Go ahead.
It depends on if it's, because there's kind of a distinction. What I had to start doing is if, like, see where it says my name up at the top?
Yes.
Okay, that means that's my thinking. Okay. So sometimes they just have my name in the drawing, and that means I drew it. But if I drew it and I thought it, then I kind of sometimes, I haven't always put both, because then it seems kind of redundant. You have your name on here twice, I don't know. But so that's my thinking. So with the thinking, you have to, that takes longer. The art part's not bad. The art part's, that's probably, 2-3 hours of art.
Okay.
But the thinking, that one had a lot of thinking in it before actually sitting down to draw that one. That one's got a lot of, because what I did is I didn't even know there was the 5 C's before that. And I didn't even know there were 5 C's, but I started realizing, these things all to go together. And I made a 5 C's one. And then somebody said, hey, have you ever thought of adding blah, 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 one of them? And then I added another one. And then we actually made an 11. We made one that was more collaborative where I sent it out and I said, what other C's can you think of? And I had all these great educators, John Gordon and David Gurin and David Burgess and other people. And they all sent me another C. So we made one that was collaborative, like a community idea kind of thinking. And I really like those. Every now and then I'll just post a question and get like input from a lot of people. I did one that was the world, and I said, what one word if you had to put education in one word or whatever. And I made a map and I put everybody's name and the one word that they said. And then I did it again like 6 months later, and we added more people and more one words and things. But I really like the collaborative ones. I did a collaborative one that was kind of Halloween theme. It was what makes a good principal or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, I think I took like a whole bunch of people's points as to what they thought made a good principal. They're not scary because that's how we made it Halloween-y, whatever. They're not scary. Whatever, principals are collaborative ones, and I like the ones where authors ask me to do a chapter of their book. Or what's really challenging is here, illustrate this entire book on one page. And so you kind of take a whole bunch of snippets, but those are tricky because you almost have to read the whole book, or go through and find how they write things. So you're finding the important part of each book. Of each chapter, and then you do that. I've done that for several authors, and then I like seeing those. And like my daughter called me the other day. She was doing a webinar, and the speakers were just like this, just like what we are right now. There were 2 people, and they were the webinar instructors, and the graphic behind them was one of my images. And she goes,
awesome.
She goes, Mom, I'm doing this webinar, and is that your artwork behind the speakers? Yeah. That's
great.
When people say that to me, like they'll call me, they go, I was in a training the other day and they dropped this thing down and it was you and it was you and it was you. That's fun.
I mean, that's awesome. And then looking at your chapter and everything else, I mean, with all the art that you contribute for education and everything else, I mean, obviously it's important, but I love one of your sentences and one of your statements in there. And, art, music, drama, theater, sculpture, or even collaborative doodling has kept us from losing our ever loving minds. I love that sentence. With kids out there and parents who might see this and other educators and stuff, how can you suggest getting creative juices flowing so we don't literally lose our minds? Because so many people, it's like, even myself, trying to create lessons and trying to create things for my school is so difficult because of this time frame we're in. I mean, how would you overcome, those barriers?
Well, you know what? I just saw Amy Fast is somebody that I follow a lot. She's brilliant. And she's a principal, and she put this on her page the other day, and I wrote it down. So I'm going to read it to you because it's dark in here because of the light. Creativity was listed as one of the top 5 skills on the World Economic Forum deemed essential for employees in 2020. Creativity, wow. Because you need, of the top 5 skills that employers want, creativity is right at the top of the list. Because I kind of look at that as you have to be able to problem solve, and you can't be someone going in with blinders and it can only be this way. And so I think that's part of creativity, but also coming up with solutions that are, out of the box and, not the normal. And I don't even believe in a box in the first place. That's a whole nother conversation. But so I think trying to find ways where people can collaborate. Collaborate.
See,
together.
the next time we do this, we'll have a time frame for the dog to get whatever the dog has on its mind, just to get it out there.
You know what it is? You want me to tell you out loud in front of everybody what's happening?
Sure. Go ahead.
The bug man came to our house. The bug guy that does your bugs, because everybody has to have a bug guy if you live in Texas, and they come to your house and they spray around the perimeter of your house. Well, apparently he was ringing the doorbell for the first 10 minutes of the thing, and then apparently he started working. Well, every door in my house is glass. So my dog is running around my house where I'm not there. And every time the guy comes anywhere near the door or the glass, that's what a dog's supposed to do. He's supposed to let me know there's somebody at my door. But the guy's not going to leave till he gets done spraying my house. So
Exactly. But with creativity and everything else, you also talk about in your chapter creative recovery and emergence. How do you speak to teaching students how to, have creative recovery and emerge out of this time frame?
I think that if you have a creative outlet, any creative outlet, it can be writing, dancing, singing. I just think people need a way to kind of get that out so that they're sharing some of themselves. And I think even more so now with the fact that everybody's kind of pent up and cooped up together and all that we're so secluded that we really need to find ways. I have a daughter-in-law who's literally a global superstar. She's a violinist, a virtuoso. She travels all over the world and plays, and musicians can't do their jobs, and they still can't do their jobs because people can't gather. So the only way that they can do their job is like creating their own products out of their own homes or their own kind of settings, because they really can't even get a whole bunch of musicians in a studio. They can't really create something unless it's like 2 people, or small groups. And like they're putting like the symphony orchestras in local towns are putting out GoFundMes because the symphonies can't. These people that was their sole thing was being part of a symphony, or like the people that are part of bands and orchestras, and they just that's who I'm, because I didn't think this was going to go on for like ever. When we were writing this book, I'm not sure any of us really realized that we were still going to be where we are now. as far as getting back together again. I thought, oh man, August, we're going to kick school open. I'm supposed to begin school Thursday of next week, but then we aren't scheduled to have kids until August 26th. We were going to have kids August 17th, but now it just got bumped to August 26th. So that's like 3 weeks of teacher training before students or something. And so I didn't think we were going to be here, but the longer this goes, the more challenging that whole, just have creativity help get you through this, because we're not really getting, I'm not really seeing the other side.
Where's the creative part to it? Exactly.
It's not happening. The other side isn't coming. It just keeps getting pushed, So, you can use creativity to help you through a rough period. I just didn't really think the period was going to be that long when we were, writing all this.
When we were putting this book, when we put this book together, I was thinking the same way. In Illinois, half the schools are shut for just full e-learning. And then mine is called an interactive remote learning plan. So you e-learn from home, and then you by appointment, certain hours on 2 days, students can come in, social distance with masks and the whole 9 yards, to get one-on-one help and one-on-one instruction for a couple hours, only 2 days a week, but everything else is at home. So it's fostering both sides. And it's very unique, because not a lot of the schools are doing it. It's either all or nothing, and we're trying to balance it. And it's going to be interesting how it is very structured, but it's going to be interesting how it's going to play out.
I am grateful that whoever the deciding factors are, I am grateful that every district is really getting to come up with their own plan. Because, if somebody in Indiana or anywhere was telling a district here how to make it work, that would
they would know.
Because, everybody has a different population. Everybody has different geography issues. Everybody has different economic issues. Everybody has different issues. So I don't think coming up with, anything by state or anything by any, I'm glad that every district is getting to do their own thing because they're the only people that know their students and their educators and how to make it work.
And it seems like everyone, if they stick state to state and they stick with what they know, it seems to be okay. But then when you have the overlaying, like you all should do this, I think that's where we may make the major problems of everything else. So Julie, I know definitely we could probably talk for another hour or so, but definitely I'm running up against my time limit today, but I do appreciate your time. Is there any social media, Twitter, Facebook, anything you want to put out there for people to follow you at?
My Twitter is at Woodard_Julie, and I'd love to see you there. I've enjoyed meeting with you today and discussing with you today. I'm sorry about my dog. He's such a good boy.
Not a problem. It's always fun to have those kind of things. And I have 3. And and there he is.
The guy's at the door to get paid now.
Of course.
We had a whole day to come, and he had to pick this 30-minute window to come do my bugs.
Julie, I do appreciate your time as always. So everyone, please go to pushboundconsulting.com. You can read Julie's contribution as well as everyone else's. Pushboundconsulting.com. Download our free ebook. This is what everyone's talking about with everyone going back to school very, very soon. We don't have all the answers. We're trying to ask the right questions, and definitely for administrators and for teachers out there, if you have, if people are talking, how am I going to do this? What's going to happen? What kind of issues can we solve? Definitely have, let us know, talk to us up at pushboundconsulting.com, and we will be definitely willing to help and offer some suggestions and solutions and some ideas to try and, help your school in some way. So Julie, please stay well. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. And get the bug guy paid. You got to get the bug guy paid, got to get him paid. Got to get it paid. Thank you so much, Julie. We'll see you soon. Okay. Appreciate it.